When I was growing up, my parents emphasized brilliance and considered education as the way to build it. Therefore, they pushed education for my siblings and me in a society where the education of children was a paramount aspiration for parents across all social and economic strata. I recall my father saying, "Those who think hardest shall rule the world." And he believed it. So I grew up believing it myself, that the world appreciated and honored brilliance and needed brilliant people to maintain efficiency in the world. A lesson I was also taught was that brilliance went beyond the ability to recall knowledge. In other words, book brilliance did not mean much unless it was applied toward improving the lives of others. But that was then. In much of the world now, in politics, in religion, and many other areas where our lives are organized around, the ability to deceive rather than intellectual skills and decency have taken over as the characteristics that define or should define who we emerge as leaders and how societies should be structured and run. Therefore, people are embraced as leaders, not because they have any leadership skills, but because they are either masters of deceit who have learned how to lie their way into people's hearts, or they have the brute power to attain and maintain submission to themselves. But our world wasn't always like this. The world had brilliant leaders who used their skills for the benefit of mankind throughout whatever careers they chose to advance. As the 18th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln brought the Union together after a bitter war of independence. And on January 1, 1863, he used the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves. As the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt, famously known as FDR, came into office during the Great Depression. He inherited an unemployment rate of around 25%, a collapsed banking system, and an inflation rate that was over the roof, not to mention incredible international crisis. With the New Deal and other social programs that he instituted, FDR powered his country through the social and economic crisis and also led the world in tackling the major social and political crises of the time. And of course, we know of Albert Einstein. Since his death in 1955, the products of Einstein's genius have continued to inspire so many in our world. And with the brilliance of his music, Beethoven continues to inspire many generations of people. All of us, almost 2 centuries after his death on March 26, 1827. He only lived for 56 years. Fela Anikulapo Kuti transformed more than a generation with brilliant music that continues to speak to our souls and conscience. Bob Marley's brilliant music inspired successful battles for freedom across the globe, and the lyrics of his music will maintain their value throughout the course of human history. Michael Jackson transformed music and dance, and Prince showed us how talent can make brilliance all the more palpable. All of these people were brilliant, and the works of their hands and the talent that they displayed left us with products that we continue to enjoy to this day. And with his artistic brilliance, William Shakespeare wrote works that we still use all over the world in educational settings and in theaters and film. Of incredibly immense significance have also been the writings of James Baldwin, the Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka, and also the Nobel laureate Toni Morrison, and Maya Angelou, Chinua Achebe, and others too many to name. With his brilliance, Leonardo da Vinci created works of art, including the Mona Lisa, that continue to marvel and serve as points of reference for people around the world, including the 9 million visitors to the Louvre Museum in Paris every year. The Colombian artist Fernando Botero applied his brilliance to create incredible works of art that occupy the Museo Botero in Bogota, Colombia, a museum that receives an average of 500,000 visitors yearly. Botero died in 2023 at age 71, but there is no doubt that the products of his brilliance will continue to outlive him. Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. were religious leaders whose brilliance led them to believe that they were supposed to use their religion to fight for freedom and justice for their people, rather than enriching themselves and filling their pockets. Both risked their lives for this worthy cause, and both were assassinated in the process. And in the service of his people, Simón Bolívar put his brilliance on the line to lead several South American countries to hard-fought independence from the Spanish Empire. The brilliant Nelson Mandela sacrificed decades of his life for humanity, even spending 27 plus years in prison, fighting for freedom and the end of apartheid in his country. Against all odds, Kwame Nkrumah used his brilliance in his struggle to attain independence for his own country, resulting in the birth of a new and true nation on March 6, 1957. As President of the United States, Jimmy Carter began the process of making an American government look more like America by appointing a record number of women and people of color to the United States government jobs. And in his post-presidency, he went about building homes for millions of people across the country and working to eradicate guinea worm in Africa and other parts of the world. Also as president, the incredibly brilliant Bill Clinton dug his country out of a deep recession, George W. Bush created a program that has saved millions of lives that would have succumbed to HIV/AIDS in Africa. And the amazingly brilliant Barack Obama, who inherited a very bad recession, not only got his country out of it, but also worked against unparalleled obstacles to create a program that would make healthcare affordable for everyone in the United States. Of course, one must never forget Paul Kagame of Rwanda, who has united a country that was reeling from years of genocide. And he has succeeded in building a country out of that tragedy. Bill Gates and others who transformed technology to the way we now know it and the way we now use it have by so doing contributed immeasurably to the advancement of humanity. Although many like me would argue that we no longer embrace and celebrate brilliance as much as we used to, it is also true that every now and again we experience sparks of brilliance that remind us of what our engaged brains are capable of. We still have brilliant people making incredible discoveries in their daily lives, such as Dr. Bennett Omalu, the Nigerian-born, United States-based neuropathologist who discovered what is now widely known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, in the brains of dead American football players. That discovery has forever changed the perception and administration of American football. Despite the sparks of brilliance about which I speak, it is my contention that our world has regressed intellectually because, in most aspects of life, it now appears that we are engaged in a shameless race to the bottom. Just look at the world in which we now live. Dances are celebrated even as the ascendancy to power and their display of authority either dumb down the intellectual abilities of others around them or make it difficult and or dangerous for those others to speak truth to power. In most cases, otherwise brilliant people succumb to the lure of material because the exercise of brilliance has been relegated to the glow and acknowledgement of prestige based on wealth. It also takes the ability to understand both the consequences of injustice and the advantages of having socially just society. It takes brilliance to recognize, support, and promote the values of a just society. It takes more than determination to develop an original idea in a world saturated by information that can be used effectively for good or bad. It also takes brilliance to conceive of and act on an idea that benefits others beyond the confines of one's nepotistic system. We must begin our trek back up, and we can only do so and do it well if we begin once again to embrace brilliance and promote it. This is a call to action because brilliant is a good thing. And those of us who are older should encourage the younger ones in our communities to strive for brilliance. And we should make every effort possible to sponsor initiatives that promote and reward brilliance. The alternative is dangerous for any society. Brilliance should neither be punished nor discouraged, nor should it be contained or ignored. We should all strive to be brilliant, and we must recognize that ideas that come out of brilliant minds do not sink ships, but build edifices that strengthen our societies and stand the test of time. On the contrary, the loose and uncultured actions of an unintelligent person, especially one in a position of authority, may do even more than sink ships. We must save our societies. Brilliance will save our world. Our world needs nerds. Yes, nerds. To stand up and be counted, because the proven ability of brilliance to shine strong, bright, guiding lights in all corners of a fading, sleepy world is needed now more than at any time in the recent history of our world. Let's all work for it.